Hello. Welcome to LadyGang Quickie. I'm Becca here with Jack and Kelty, and I just watched something so
Disgusting.
disturbing. Kelty has the soundboard at her feet, and instead of leaning over to push record with her fingers, she took her bare foot out of her slipper and used her big toe to press the record button.
Yep. I'm multi-dexterous.
I actually am too. I can do a lot with my feet.
I can pick up a lot of items.
Yeah.
I'm incredible with my
like
toes.
every one of my toes can move at different times. Like I feel like it'd be a good monkey.
My acupuncturist told me it's very important that we splay our toes every day
Oh.
for your body and for everything. And I tried to have Chris splay his toes and he couldn't.
Yeah.
Like I
think a lot of men can.
I can do a jazz hand with my toe.
Yeah, me too. I can move my pinky toe.
You're razzle dazzle.
That's why people have toe separators.
Yeah, they feel. I used to use those.
I use them too.
I don't know what
really
they do.
nice.
What?
They feel weird?
Yeah. Well, I have a bunion.
Oh,
A
God.
slight bunion. Not like
Watch that.
surgery-worthy.
It's going to get worse, you know.
But I know. But I
My
think the
sister
toe
looked at my
separators are
foot the
good.
other day and said I had a bunion, and I thought it was really rude.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's not good.
It hurts, but such is life.
Oh, well.
Anyway, we're recording. We did it.
With
We
your
recorded.
Yeah. Thank you, foot.
Today is a very serious episode of LadyGang. Just kidding. Well, it is a little bit. But here's the thing. We are a multifaceted woman here at LadyGang. We can laugh and talk about celebrities. We can make fun of each other for using their big toes for things that are normally used a hand for. We can, we get the Riz. We have the Riz. We have the Dazzle. We have it all,
The
Zazz.
Zazz.
The Zazz. But we also have a lot of feelings. And a lot of times when we actually share our real feelings, that's when we get the most love from our community. My point being is that like every once in a while we'll open up the vault of our souls and it will do it. People love it. They feel inspired by it. So LadyGang, open your soul. Bring it out. Is your soul open, Jack?
Here she comes.
Here it comes.
Okay. Here's the first question.
No, what? Do you want to explain what? I don't even know what shadow work is.
Okay. So shadow work is this thing that you do in therapy where you're like your own shadow and you're asking yourself questions about like if there was a little Jack on your shoulder that followed you around and we asked that Jack these questions and she answered them very honestly what she would see. So
you're trying to like answer questions without ego.
Without ego and without lying to yourself.
I thought shadow was like the ugly part, like the hard to face parts that you don't.
Yeah, well, that's what it is too.
Okay.
I mean, I was just making that up.
I know when you said it's like your shadow. I don't think it's actually.
No, it's the
The
darkness.
little Jack on your
It's
shoulder.
like where the
Internal darkness.
sunshine does not hit.
It's like how I
It's where
feel
you
when
hide
Jack's
it.
podcasting, but also texting in her group chat the whole time.
That wasn't a group chat. I just got offered to go to a Botox party.
Ew.
Ooh, will you go?
No, it's from an ad.
That's shady.
I know.
That's shady.
I don't think you should go to group Botox ever.
No, not a Groupon.
I am excited because I think I'm going to get like a Moxie peel
What's that?
where they like laser off your face.
Oh, I'm fun.
I know, I'm going to see. I haven't had like one of those things, just age spots. Sorry. Anyway, back to us, back to the shadow work. Dun, dun, dun. When am I the hardest on myself and why? Where does it stem from?
When am I hardest on myself and why? Feeling like an unsuccessful loser. And that stems from being a loser and being rejected all the time.
Are you really hard on
sums it up.
yourself?
I mean,
Because devil's advocate, on the podcast, you play it off. Like, you play it from what I see on the outside. I see you as someone who has decided on this life that is going to be 99.99% rejection and is like, it's rejection. And I know I'm going to get rejected, so I just get rejected and then I let it roll off.
But isn't that a defense mechanism?
well,
Yes.
but there's a difference between like having a moment of, oh, I'm a loser again, and then moving on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like dwell in the feeling of
don't.
being a loser.
No.
But I would say that's where I'm the hardest on myself is like the first, 7 hours post. That's
you do have
4
the sads.
hours.
You have the sads.
No, it's not the sads. It's the when I'm hardest on myself, when I'm like, you're a loser and it's been proven again. So like, okay, great. Let's do it again tomorrow.
I love this feeling.
It's awesome. I feel alive. So yeah, I don't dwell in it.
Yeah.
and I don't necessarily get sad. I just get like, oh, right. It's like the self-fulfilling prophecy, or like, I don't know the terminology for it, but it's like, when you believe something and then you just basically make it come true all the time.
Yeah. Self-fulfilling prophecy for sure. Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I recently had something like that happen with me where I wasn't hosting the Thanksgiving Day parade, and I went to NBC, who still has a parade, and I was like, hey, like, I would love to be involved. Millions of people have watched me host this for a decade. Like, it would be cool to bring all those people over to this. And they were like, we're good.
Who's hosting it?
Yeah, are they having a host?
I mean, not that I didn't even ask for a host position. I was just like, if there's like a man on the street, or maybe there's like a TikTok live, or like something to be in the mix and be there. But I mean, it's like Hoda. Like, I'm not going to take Hoda's spot. Like, I get
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like for a minute there, I was like, oh, you're right. I'm a loser. And then I got over
You're
it.
not
So
a
I get
loser.
it.
The job doesn't exist anymore.
Thank you, Jack.
I
You're
mean,
right.
that's true.
You're right. If it existed, you'd still have that job.
It's not like they replaced you.
But but it's like when your TV show gets canceled, you're like, I'm a loser.
Yeah, it must be me.
It's gotta be me.
Everybody complained about me.
Yeah, it was us. It was my fault. Okay, Jack.
I've just always been my own worst critic, like always, about everything. So it's not anything specific. It's just how I
24/7. Me as a human.
I think it stems from probably undiagnosed OCD in a sense, and my perfectionism that I know is like a genetic thing. My dad has the same kind of thing, but I've always been like that. I think I've talked about it, but like on the podcast. But when I was like a kid, and I'd like make all these drawings, and I was such a good artist when I was a kid, and I'd like crumple them up, not thinking that they're good enough. So it's just like in my DNA, I think.
Yeah.
But
I'm the hardest on myself when people question, like, I can take rejection and I can take all of those things, but when people like question my integrity as a human being, that's when I am like, oh my God, I'm a terrible person, because I might have 20% terrible person in me. Like a little bit of that evil genius has to be evil. And I know the reason I've been successful in Hollywood is because I have that 20% ruthlessness. And that's like, I'm fine with that. Like I'm okay. I think the ratio is okay, but like, I know I'm ruthless, and I know that I will like cut a bitch if I need to. I mean, I don't often do it, and I do it very silently. So you
will
never
also
know.
only do it if somebody
Really
crosses
fucks
you.
with me. Yes.
Yeah.
But when people see that part of me and they call me out on it, that's when I'm like, oh my God, they know you're a terrible person. You need to run and crawl in a hole. You need to stop doing this. Like, that's when I'm so hard on myself. Like, people can tell me I'm ugly all day on the internet. It doesn't really, I mean, it's funny. It kind of affects me, but like, I would say it's like pretty water off a duck's back. But like, when someone is like, you're a bad person, I'm like, oh,
They're questioning your
they
character.
know.
Does
Yeah.
that happen often?
No, but when it happens, it really messes with me.
Yeah.
Like, it just happened. Something we were doing for Lady World, someone like was like, oh, I don't know, like if this is, and I was like so sad for a few days, because I was like, oh my God, they know, like everyone knows I'm a bad person.
They know my secret.
There's no.
I know. It's very strange. And the reason it's where it stems from is I think that I have always, until really this podcast and you guys got it out of me, I've always hidden my evil genius. Like, now it's a joke with us that it's like the evil genius, but like I sort of, as a kid, and I was much like you, Jack, like trying to be perfect, trying not to like rattle any feathers, trying to make my family is just like very peaceful. And then I got to be an adult, and like, I really hated it when people were like, oh, you just married that guy for a green card. And I was like, no, I didn't. Like, he was my boyfriend. We never talked about getting married. He proposed to me. I felt like gaslit, but like, he was my boyfriend and I really loved him, you know? And like, I tried. I went into it and I was like, okay, I'm going to move to New York. I'm going to be this Italian wife. Like, I tried to learn how to cook. Like, I really, really, really tried. But was there 20% of me that was like, well, this is great. I get to live in New York City, where my dreams come true?
fine.
That's
Yeah.
totally fine.
There is not a single person on the face of this earth that is like 100% good-natured all of the time.
Also, you're allowed to acknowledge perks of certain people, certain relationships, certain things. It doesn't mean that that's why you are friends with those people or with those people in relationships. There are people, there's a very big difference between people who their priority is to get things for them selfishly, so it's like no interaction is genuine, no relationship is genuine, you're not one of those people.
No.
At all.
Because you don't use people.
You don't use people.
I know, I could use them more. I really could. What's the biggest lie I tell myself consistently?
Oh,
What's yours?
I'll save money tomorrow.
That's so true.
I am the world's worst person with money. Not that I go around, I just have no discipline. So I'll have like oh my God, I walked out the door and I had a $300 day.
Yeah.
And then I'll justify it and I'll be like, it's fine. The rest of the week, I won't spend money. And then the rest of the week,
next
I
day
will spend
comes
money.
around.
This is so funny, Becca, because you don't buy anything big.
No.
Dude, the little things add up. The little Starbucks.
That's what I do. And I think that this is the way that I spend money. Like I'll admit, I don't look at prices in a grocery store. I feel very fortunate that I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
I don't check prices of things on Amazon. I mean, I do on Amazon, but there are some things that I don't pay attention to. And the reason is because I spent my 20s in New York on a tight budget.
100%.
And I'll never forget going into a CVS and thinking to myself, or Duane Reade,
I can't buy enough tampons this month because I don't have $6.
or thinking like, one day I'm going to come in here and I'm going to buy 4 lip glosses just
Right.
because I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that like feeling of just the frivolous spending. It was never like, I can't wait to make money and buy a house. It was like, I can't wait to make money and go on a shopping spree at Duane Reade.
Well, yeah, because that's more important.
Yes. And like restaurants. Like if I'm out at a restaurant to eat, which is not often anymore, I'm not checking to see the prices on the thing that I'm ordering.
Well, this is so crazy. This is what I don't know if your parents do this, but like my dad and I will go out for dinner and I'm like, well, do we want to get an appetizer? He's like, $16 for an artichoke dip. No, like that. And I was just like, oh my God, like I'm having dinner with my dad. Like I'm so happy. I see you 3 times a year. Like
We're getting the artichoke
We're
dip.
having the artichoke dip, but I understand that that's a privilege, but like, I agree. There's certain times where I'm just like, but I think it stems from the fact that I used to be like, I just recently found a journal entry from New York and I was listing all the things that I was really thankful for. And this was like in 2006. And it said, I have $381 in my bank account. And I was like, oh my God,
Big spender.
I am f***ing rich.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, so I hear you.
Yeah. So those are the things, that's still the way that I live my life. Like if I'm at a grocery store, if I'm at and I actually I did follow through on one thing, which was my Amazon. I only buy things that I absolutely need on Amazon now. Because I had to rein that in.
Because it's so easy.
It's so easy. It's so easy. But I have to say that I've mastered Amazon.
Mine's funny because it's money related too, but like sort of in the opposite, but not really. Like the lie that I tell myself is I'm gonna go broke every single day.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like I think it stems from, I mean, I didn't grow up rich. Like my parents aren't rich. They're like middle class. But when I was like getting really big with like the Jack Vanek brand, when I was 21 years old, I was so young and I was making the most money I've ever made in like 2 years than I've ever made since then. Mm-hmm. But the way my parents were like, you're saving this money. You're not spending a dime of it. And at the time I was sharing like a 1-bedroom apartment or a studio apartment with one of my friends. Like we were sleeping in the same room. Like I could have rented a super expensive apartment, but my parents are like, no, you're going to do that.
Yeah.
And you're going to not touch your money. And I think it's obviously the best thing that they've ever done, but there's a part of me that still has that like, it's not frugal, but it's scarcity. It's like, I think about it like all the time. I'm like, next year I could be making no money. Like, I don't know, but I've saved my money that's never going to happen the way that I've like been good with money. But I always am telling myself that.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that I have Jared that's like so great with like money stuff. And he's like helping me with my savings and my taxes and all that kind of stuff. That I'm like, I can trust him. And my dad helps me with it before, but like, I don't know. There's something about me that like money scares me.
Yeah. I think a lot of women we've talked about on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's just a terrifying thing.
Yeah.
I'm sort of the opposite because I'm like, that's my power.
Yeah.
Like
well, you're very like,
I'm so anal
you dive
about
into it.
Yeah, I like love. Like yesterday, I was like excited about tax season. So yesterday, I literally looked at my credit card and I was just I was looking at all like how I bought almost nothing big this whole year other than like the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, what did I spend my money on? And then it's like Uber, Amazon, the Uber Eats. Like I was just like, oh my God, I spent like so much money on nothing. Like I'm so mad at myself that I'm like, I need to like be better. Anyway, about like buying something big that's like gonna be worth it.
I know. I'm always mad at myself when I go and I do those stupid
Why did I
things
buy
like
this Tinker Toys?
the stupid door dashes and the like run to whatever weird place. I'm like, at the end of this week, I like probably could have saved $1,000.
Yes.
And I would have much rather like had an intentional spend of $1,000 or an intentional save of $1,000.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of like the world we live in. It's
Yes.
a really hard thing to break. And then also things are expensive. Life is
Things are so fucking
expensive.
expensive.
So expensive.
Because even when you just do the bare minimum of what you need, it's like toilet paper
No.
and paper towels
Like
and
$20.
soap and shampoo and all the things you need to just be
Yeah.
like an adult is hard. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. The biggest lie I tell myself consistently is that I am like, okay, I don't know how to say this, but I need you guys to really understand.
Okay.
So I get up in the morning, I'll go to Pilates, I'll like, work in the yard or like not the yard work, but like I'll sit out there or I'll sit in the office and email and like I'm in my sweatsuit, like no makeup, no hair, whatever. And then I'll go to eat and then they put me together. So that's like my normal day, right? Unless we have something in the morning. The lie that I tell myself is that like I am pretty, but like I know that I'm pretty. So it's not about being pretty, but it's like we've talked like in your 20s, I mean, I was hideous in my 20s, but like
Same.
you could run around in your sweatpants and it was like kind of cute. Like I'm a slob kebab. Like I know I'm a slob kebab. I go to work in like a slipper. Like the other day, one of the makeup artists was like, whoa, I've never seen you wear a pant before. I've worked here for 2 years. You're telling me I have never arrived to work in not a legging or sweatpant or a onesie? Like I'm kind of a disgusting slob, but I'm presenting myself like I'm pulled together. And that's one thing that really bothers me about myself is that I want to be.
But here's my question. I know exactly what you mean, and I think a lot of women go through this. I think there's a lot of women, especially since 2020, where you can do so much of your work at home.
Yeah.
Or if you don't have a job, it's now become so acceptable to go out in clothing we would have been caught dead in.
Hair not done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I'll
But
catch
do
myself
you-
in the mirror or like walking by and I was like, I can't believe I'm out in public.
I
right
do the
now.
same exact
That's literally
thing.
how I live 99% of my life.
But
yeah,
do
it's
you
gross.
feel when you do put the pant on, do you feel better? Do you feel better about yourself? Because
Yes.
I actually used to be the type of person that just felt like it was wasted energy to do the
Yes.
thing to put myself together.
Yes.
But then Emily Loftus, on a mutual friend of ours, she was talking about how she had a client. She does personal styling. She has a client who just feels really bad about herself right now. Like she's postpartum. She doesn't feel comfortable in her body. She's tired, blah, blah, blah. And Emily was like, just do one thing every day. Put on mascara. Just put on a little something that makes you, whatever your mascara is,
Yeah.
Right.
whether it's washing your hair, whether it's the manicure. We all have the thing that once you've done that one thing, you're
Spray
like,
tan.
I can take on the world. Right.
Yeah.
You and a
Yeah.
spray tan. And I thought about that and I thought I have been fooling myself a little bit into thinking it doesn't affect how I carry myself through the day
Yes.
if I don't put myself together.
It's so true.
It's so weird.
It's so true. And it's like, and people will be like, oh, well, you shouldn't dress for anybody else or the guys or whatever. But it's like, it really is something for yourself.
It's self-care.
Yeah.
It's like,
Because there's been times like I'll go down to Pilates, they have a million mirrors, and I'm like just nasty. And I like look in the mirror and I'm like, ugh. And then the times that I go and I have like my matching set on and like a nice bun in my hair and like have washed my face, like I actually do feel better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's just such a weird thing.
and the reality of it is like, whether or not you like it or not, people treat people who are put together differently. Like
100%.
when I go out in the world to put together, and I'm not saying decked out, I'm saying just like clean hair,
Yeah.
a little bit of makeup, an outfit.
Yeah.
Like I get treated differently. People are nicer to me.
Yeah. Well, and also it kind of like trickles down into my marriage. It's like, yes, you're with this person that loves you unconditionally. Like, yes, we're married. But it's like the amount of I've gotten into this thing where I know Chris is like, I love you without makeup. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like all that stuff on your face. And like, I come home from E and I have like all the makeup on, we eat dinner together and he's like, ugh. But like, now I've taken it a step too far where I'm like, oh, you like me without makeup, so you like me as slob kebab.
Yeah.
Those are not the same things.
No.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I came out of the closet the other day and I had like a great mini t-shirt, kind of cropped, and a gray sweatpant, but I had like had my hair washed and like skin on and like obviously I have skin on, but you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
not,
like the skincare that makes
skincare
you
is
look
glowy and
Yeah.
pretty. And he was like,
Alive.
oh, cute. So
Yeah.
it's not about like necessarily the outfit.
No.
But like I tried to like not just be like,
Well, this is also what my girlfriends and I were talking about last night. We were having dinner and they were like, I hate feeling like an old grumpy millennial, but when I see girls with the zit stickers on their faces, to me that signals that you haven't washed your face since you went to bed last night. Granted, I think some
if they
people
put 'em on-
do
they
wash.
wear them in the day now. But
I
yeah.
know, but some of them are just doing overnight and then
Yeah.
just kind of rolling it into the day.
Yeah.
And they're like, I know that we do that too, but we at least like put on the dry shampoo and like all the things to try to conceal. And to
Yeah.
me, the sticker is like, I officially
don't give a
care.
Yeah.
And that's tough.
Oh, see, I like it.
I mean, it's like embracing your breakouts as a teen, and I think that's cute. Like, I like the new attitude, but I get it where it's like, I don't actually, when I'm sitting next to you on a Southwest flight, I want to know that you showered the day before. I don't want to smell your scalp.
Okay, on that note, we have so much more shadow work. We'll have to come back and do this again.
Yeah.
Great episode.
Great episode.
We weren't here for a long time.
You're here for a
dark
shadowy
time.
time.